tourism. I think I need to click, got it. Yes. Before the tourism arrived here in our village, which was around 2000, people were used to go out and fish for their daily meal here. This was the main income source for the people. With the increasing tourism, the income source stayed the same, the ocean, but the topic changed a bit. Like you can see, we're a huge harbor. In the back of the picture, you can see the harbor ferry where the big boats are leaving to the neighbor island Lombok. And in the middle of the picture, you see another small pier, which is a speedboat harbor, where on a daily basis, let me say around up to 5,000 tourists flush our village and speed up with these speedboats to the neighboring islands. But when this tourism is gone, let me say at around 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., then Padang Bai is still back this small fishing village. Now we're coming to myself. My name is Claudia Koch. I'm a scuba instructor living and working here in Padang Bai since already 10 years. I decided 10 years ago to quit my job, change my life, and start on a new base here as a scuba diving instructor in our small village, Padang Bai. So that means I live here and I work here and I go diving on a daily basis. I teach students diving, and these students and all the other people, yes, you can go ahead, Gerd.
Okay.
All these people and these tourists, they come to our village for diving because we have world famous dive sites just in front of our door. They come and they expect to see this beautiful, colorful coral reefs, healthy with a huge biodiversity and a lot of fish around. And people, they are in an airplane from time to time, more than 20 hours to see this. But what they get, could you please go to the next slide, is this. So what they get is a rubble field of broken corals, which is just a desert with no infrastructure anymore for any kind of creature living in our ocean. I mean, I don't have to emphasize how important the ocean is for our planet. Let me just say it with the words of Sylvia Earle. She's a person I really adore, an oceanographer, and she says that when there is no blue, there is no green. The ocean is so important for our planet, and what we are doing with all our strengths we have, we destroy it. And I mean, I'm, as a diving instructor, also depend on the ocean, economic-wise. But it's not only the economic thing, it's also the thing what you love to do, what you love to see. And people are coming to find Nemo. Who of you ever saw this video, Finding Nemo? I guess every one of you know this. And Nemo is, by the way, it's not the name of the fish. The fish is a clownfish, a common clownfish, which you see here on the picture. But this clownfish needs also a home. And these houses of these fishes are destroyed. Gerd, could you please go to the next slide? Because the houses look now like this, and these are no cozy places. I mean, we as humans, we also need cozy places. We need the infrastructure when we live in a certain place. We need schools, we need supermarkets, we need nurseries, we need anything. But fishes need that also, but this is what they have in the moment right now. And it comes to a point where you really realize there are still healthy places in the ocean, but like you see here, this is one of our healthy reefs. But if we go ahead with our current pollution level, so already 2050, we will have more plastic in our ocean than fish. So we are doing ocean cleanups on a daily basis, nearly on every single dive. We bring mesh bags, we collect all the trash we find underwater, bring it up to the surface, and then there try to dispose it in a proper way. If we talk about how many pieces of plastic, visible-wise, Gerd was just emphasizing the microplastic which we have in our oceans. This is the invisible part, but only the visible part, we are talking about over 5 trillion. And I mean, maybe you could imagine how many numbers is a trillion. I can't. It's a lot of numbers. And you see all these pieces of plastic in our ocean on a daily basis. And it's disgusting if you then want to bring out people, go diving, and they have to descend in such a rubbish field. But this is what you can see offshore. What you can see onshore, and the situation which we find in our village is what you find here. This is our parking area on the left side with the stray dog in front. There are garbage bins, yes, but you see how they look like. And people just throw everything unsorted in plastic bags on these parket field or on other places. When they don't bring it here, they just bury it in the gardens, or they burn it behind the house, complaining why they all need to cough. And on the right picture, you could see, can you just go back one time more, Gerd? On the right picture, you can see these plastic sachets. Everything is packed up here this way because people think still this is cheaper to buy these small sachets. And the rest, what we found in the village from the waste is burned here. This is our local recycling station. And this is our incinerator. And people working here, we have around 10 people working there. They do not even have gloves. They do not have masks. They do not have proper shoes to sort, wash, and do everything with their own hands to get at least a kind of sorted and do something with our waste management. This is our recycling station, and here you can see one of the wonderful ladies. It was 2 weeks ago when I visited the place, and she just showed me, well, I do this all with my hands only. So, and you see this whole situation. You see the situation offshore in the ocean. You see the situation onshore on land. But still, you end up in a passive corner, and so did I. Every one of you knows these 3 monkeys, we call them. I don't want to speak about it. I don't want to see it. And I don't even want to hear anything. I always say from time to time, you meet up friends, you sit in a bar, you complain a little bit about the situation. And at the end, you order a second beer and you go back to the gossip from the town. Until you find some other people who see the invisible part. And you get a vision. You get a vision what is invisible to others. And this is the moment when I want to introduce you about our group. We call it Living Seas. And in the moment, we are just forming up our own NGO here under the name Blue Conservation Living Seas. We started already coming from 2 dive centers 3 years ago. And we started already 3 years ago to bring our vision in words. And our vision was, we want to rebuild a thriving coral reef ecosystem in our village, bring biodiversity back to the ocean. We want to reduce single-use plastic, work on the managing the waste recycling, and doing this all with integration of the local community, because we are still experts living here. So, and our opinion is that we can only do these things while integrating local people and especially the local youth from our village, to educate them, help them in understanding what means sustainability, in giving them a training about waste management, giving them a training about what is the problem with the waste, and especially what is the problem for our ocean with all these waste, and what can we do about it to maintain it for a longer future. So, and now I already told you something about our mission. So very close again. So we had something to see and we got into action. So, and then, Gerd, could you please go to the next slide? We said everything what we do is about these 3 key points. Regenerate the ocean, reduce the single-use plastic, and help with alternatives to recycle the waste. And we do this all not individually, because individually you are just a drop. But while doing this together, we can change a lot. And while doing this with the integration of the local youth, of the community in Padang Bayo, working together with the mayor of the village, working together with the religious head of the village, we can really make a huge change in what we are working on, even in a small village with around 3,600 inhabitants. So education is for us the key for a better future. You can see our team here. There is me. There is in the back of the table, this is Leon, my partner. There is Abe sitting in front, and the kids are all kids from Padang Bae. We have in a training program, and this meeting was just after we brought them for the first time to our recycling station, where they were really shocked about the situation because they had no clue. First of all, I would say 50% had no clue that we have this recycling station. And the second one was so shocked and found it disgusting when they saw that the women are washing their waste with their own hands. So, and this is what we do. We meet up with the kids every week, sometimes every second week. We train them. We give them movies to see about sustainability, about the ocean, about plastic, and train them in doing something better for the village. Let me tell you something about our 3 topics we try to do. No, once back, please. So our first topic was regeneration. With regeneration, once further. Yeah. With regeneration, we focus on regenerating the coral reef. Our target, oh, now Gerd, you just opened your version of the presentation, yeah? Our target is, first of all, because we have a double step target. Our first target is to regrow 10,000 square meters, yeah? But because the 10,000 square meters are here in our village, but we already opened up other places on other places in Bali, a little bit outside of our village. So the bigger picture is to end up with around 50,000 square meters. But let me come back to our village target, which is around 10,000 square meters, which is already a lot, if you think about it. And what we reached in the last 3 years is 1,000, nearly 400 square meters already with regrown corals, with a huge biodiversity coming back. We plant these new corals while, and this is a fact what I really adore on these projects, while multiplying nature. So what we do is we go to existing coral reefs, check out which coral is broken because of storms, because of heavy weather, because of the acidification of the ocean. The corals can't grow really strong, so they break easier. And we just collect these broken but still healthy corals and give them a second chance back to life. And we do this on hexagonal structures. We call it reef stars. Out of metal, we mantle them with resin and seabed sand. And there we planted already more than 2,000 of these reef stars, which is equal to a nearly 40,000 coral fragments we plant. Now my dogs are playing here in the room. Give me a second, I need to have to throw them out of the room. Otherwise I can't talk. Hey.
It's okay.
Sorry, guys, but I have, beside of our environmental project, we have a small animal rescue. And so I have a lot of dogs and cats in my house, and sometimes it's difficult to have a meeting. Okay, so this is what we reached by now. And in the last 3 years, we have turned this, and this is our place where we started our project, which is called Baung Penyu. It's in the Amuk Bay, directly in front of Padang Bae. We have turned this desert into this by now. So the corals are growing, the fishes are back, the corals are again the houses, and it's so nice if you do the coral planting, what we do every 10 days, let me say every 10 days or 2 weeks, you do that, and there is an octopus close to you, and there are fishes already nibbling on your hands while you are planting these coral fragments. So this is our first project. But when you are diving on a daily basis and you do the coral planting and you collect all the trash, what you find on your dives, you start thinking about that something is not correct. And what is not correct is the huge amount of plastic, what is used here in Indonesia. The whole life, the whole daily life is full of plastic. It starts even in the morning when you go out and buy your breakfast. You get everything in a plastic bag. So we decided we have to do something. We have to start something against. But for us, the first point was not to only just educate the local youth. It was also to find an alternative for the local community, which was not existing by now. So we were discussing this with our fellowship programs. We call it fellowship programs with the youth from Paraguay. And there are already existing zero waste shops in Bali, but they are more for the experts living here. There are products the locals would never use. They are expensive, and locals would never dare to go into it. So we decided together with the local youth, why don't we just open up a refill shop for the local community, where the local community can come and buy the stuff they need, they used to buy by their own, and they just bring their own containers, or they bring plastic bottles. We collect plastic bottles, we wash them and give them to the local community as a possible container to bring home their dishwashing soap, their hair shampoo, softener for the washing machine, whatever. And we buy the products in bulk. So that's way cheaper. And then we give back this cheaper price to the community. So we started that from our own purse, because we said we want to try if it's possible in our village to do that. And we even gave girls from the village a job, and they were in before unemployed. So we run this shop now, which we call Toko Anti-Plastic, a very simple name, but a helpful name, because there is no fancy thing around. And would you please go to the next slide, Gerd? I mean, this is not much what you can see here, but it's at least something we started. We started with Toko Anti-Plastic at the 1st of July last year. And we count everything we sell as one plastic item we reduced. And in this half year, we at least reduced 2,000 pieces of plastic. I mean, it's not much. And we are still trying to spread the word about our shop at the local community. So we have still one girl working in the shop. The other girl is walking around in the village and is talking to the households, ask them which products they need, ask them what is the problem, why don't they dare to come in the refill shop. And we try to figure out which way we have to approach the local community to get these more used. So this was our second point, the reducing point of single-use plastic. And now let me come to the third point, and this is recycling. And the project here is scaling up our local waste station. And here you see this, let me really say, disgusting picture on the left side, where the local women working there at this waste station sit there having no gloves, bare feet, sitting in that disgusting place, I can't name it another way, with their hand in a so dirty water, washing the plastic waste from the households in Paraguay. And we brought the kids there. And they were quiet, and they felt a little bit ashamed in this situation. But for us, it was very important that they see it. Because what they used to see, the kids, was the right side picture. And these places in our beautiful, breathtaking nature we have in Bali, they're getting more and more and more, because people, they have no clue what to do with the trash. So, well, we bury it in our garden, we burn it behind our house, wondering why our kids all cough the whole time, or we just throw it out in the nature. And these are then the places you see. And together with EndPlasticSoup, I have the wrong logo of the Rotary here inside, Bernd Maya. we will change it. And Technicians Without Borders, Technik ohne Grenzen, we set up a project which we are really so thankful about, in a cooperation with the mayor of our village, and also with the religious head of our village. And the immediate measures for the occupational safety are already done, by the way. Bernard, Maya, everything arrived. I just wait for a meeting to bring all the stuff to the recycling station. But we want to do this together with the major and together with the religious head of the village to just give it a bit more value from the village itself. The plan is to train the staff and the students in the village. And very important point, establishment of a disposal logistic. Because what I said, in the moment, they all said, yeah, we have to do something. Because, and now we are coming to the big point, for any reason, Bali decided to stop to pick up the waste from the villages. Why? Because the recycling places are full. This is not only from the local communities, this is only from the huge tourism we have here in Bali. And the tourists, they come to our wonderful island, they expect a paradise, and they drink everything what they order with a straw. They order their meals in white styrofoam bag places. Yeah, just to carry it around because they are so busy having no time in their holiday, even not to sit on a place in a nice, cozy, small restaurant or warung to enjoy their meal. No, they have to carry it around while complaining about the plastic waste they find in the nature. And so it's very important that we think about and work together with the village heads to implement a disposal logistic, how we can get the sorted plastic from the households being brought to the recycling station, being there recycled in a proper way, while building up and construct an environmentally friendly incinerator so that the people working there are not in a health danger anymore. And then figure out what we can recycle and what needs to be burned to sort these trash management out, starting at least in one village here on the island of gods. So these are our 3 projects we started already 3 years ago from our heart. Like I said, we are all diving instructors. Before we started to found under a NGO with what is just the ongoing project, we were just 2 dive centers getting in action because one of us was the one who stood up. And I was the one who joined at a certain point. And now we are running these projects together. And our mission is that what we want to do is spread these words. And let me end this presentation again with a quote from Sylvia Earle. Knowing is the key to caring. And with caring, there is hope that people will be motivated to take positive actions. They might not care even if they know, but they can't care if they're not aware. And therefore, I'm so thank you. And I really appreciate to get the possibility to tell something about the things we are doing here in our small village in the east of Bali in Karangasem. And a big thank you, not only from my side, also from my partner. We are doing these things together. Gerd, could you just please go to the last foil? Let me introduce you. This is Leon Boy. We are running these projects together under the name Blue Conservation Living Seas Asia. And I really appreciate this quote. Individually, we are a drop, but together we are an ocean, and together we can make an impact of things we are thriving or we are driven by.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can you tell us how much money you still need for this phase you're currently working on?
We are not talking about a special amount of money for different kind of projects. There are many different ways people can cooperate in our projects. We are just by now working together with EndPlasticSoup, with the Rotary clubs, with Technicians Without Borders, they are going to help us to scale up our recycling station. We are still working on the regeneration of our reefs. Everyone worldwide can participate and collaborate us while sponsoring Reef Stars. We're still trying to set up a new fellowship program for the next year. We did this once with another foundation, with the TUI Care Foundation. They are from the tourism side. So there were hotels involved and kids working at hotels. But we want to build up a second one under the plastic waste thoughts to educate them in waste management and send them out, even out of our village, to raise the awareness at the household, because we can't do that. We are the experts. We need the local people doing that. And we need the local youth to spread the word, to explain it to the elderly generation. So this is something what we are going to set up.
Thank you.
So
Bernard.
I can't tell you something about simple costs. What I can do is just give you the links where we can be sponsored for the coral planting, for going ahead with our fellowship program. Or I think that, I mean, you as EndPlasticSoup and the Rotary Club are already involved in our recycling scaling up project. So I think they can
Thank you.
be in behind
Thank you.
afterwards.
Bernard,
Yeah,
you wanted to...
maybe I can say something about the costs. I've been talking to the head of Technicians Without Borders in the German department about costs. It's really astonishing how cheap these things can be put into function, because in Indonesia, we also have the technology and the persons to install, let's say, this ultra heat oven to burn the plastic without polluting the air. They have machinery to scratch the plastic into small pieces and pack it into bulk, so it can be sold to other companies and use it as a pre-product for new plastic bottles, for example. There are many things that they can heat the plastic and form, let's say, plastic blocks, which also can be used in other plastic products again. So the plastic can be put into function again without using new plastic. So, and this can be done really in the basics for about 10,000 euro. 10,000 euro. We can change the world in this small village. And let's say if we want to do more, it's about 20,000 euro. This small village can be cleaned up, and plus, of course, plus the manpower in the village. Of course, this is but the equipment is, let's say, in the ideas of Rotary, what is 2,000 euros or dollars? When we think about spending millions of money for polio now, for example, it's a complete different dimension. So I think it should be possible for us to raise this money and give them it.
No, you're fully right, Bernard. But of course, when we talk about EndPlasticSoup, we're also talking about a big part of the world. So you end up with the multitude of the polio now cost if you're not careful. Thank you very much,